Business and commerce are coming together in a unique project to make New Zealand a leader in healthy food.
The exciting part is to bring together new teams of researchers.
The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Nutrition is a prime case because we do not eat ingredients, we do not eat nutrients, we eat diets.
We don't want to be producers of just food, we want to be producers of nutrition.
We have the role to enhance New Zealand's reputation as a producer of high quality foods with the validated health benefits.
Globally, there's actually very few foods or beverages in the world with health claims that are recognised by governments.
High value nutrition, it is about delivering a commercial result and about assisting the development of an ecosystem on the back of our scientific knowledge that builds a reputation for New Zealand as a source of food that delivers proven nutritional and health benefits to our customers.
High value nutrition is different. We have one mission, we're moderate to high risk science. It's not business as usual, it's establishing new science, but it has to be balanced to an industry outcome. We need to invest to make sure that that science stretch is going to be relevant and useful for our businesses.
High value nutrition has a particular focus on Asia because of the export economy. But from a scientific perspective, Asia firstly is having a major problem with obesity and metabolic health. But secondly, it seems that Asian people are much more at risk when they gain a little bit of body weight. They often have something that we call the toffee profile, which is thin on the outside, fat on the inside.
We're working with Sally and the Liggins Institute to identify biomarkers of the pre-diabetes condition, particularly in that TOFI phenotype. So we're addressing three fundamental scientific questions. One is, can we predict the biomarkers involved in the development of type 2 diabetes? The second is, can we measure those biomarkers in blood? And the third is, can we develop foods that interact to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes?
We hope to be able to better establish what is the relationship between the food and that particular health condition. Elite Gut is important for high value nutrition because it addresses a need for the consumer in Asia. There are a lot of secrets in that gut that we have to unlock in terms of mechanism of action, knowing how food affects gut function. So if we're able to do that using advanced technology, then we can find some of those solutions that the food industry can take.
At the University of Otago, we're going to be working very closely with Nicole and the Elite Gut team to recruit people with irritable bowel syndrome into our study, and that will enable us to understand irritable bowel syndrome by looking at a range of samples and understand the mechanisms of disease.
Within the High Value Nutrition program, we have a new project, and that is a program about early life health. And it's actually the best idea to get things right early in life rather than waiting for things to go wrong and then try to correct them later. We started basically this summer, and after the first few months of its existence, we could develop kind of a proof of concept that we can go from health benefit to bacterium, to the feed of the bacterium, to the source. So it's a benefit-driven project rather than testing ingredients, which is very typical in the nutritional space.
I'm working on looking to identify food and beverage products that can support lung health, in particular lung immune health. One of the reasons for this is we know that a lot of people are living in increasingly polluted environments. The lungs are essentially being assaulted. And what we want to do is identify foods and beverages that people can take that will help their lungs.
Consumer insight is the knowledge of what consumers are going to do and how they make their decisions today, and how you can use that information to understand what they will do in the future. Our responsibility is to understand consumers in those Asian markets to the extent that we can inform our science programs and how that might translate to an opportunity for New Zealand.
It's one thing to have knowledge about connection between health and nutrients in a food, but using that knowledge to create a new product is an entirely different challenge. We want to make sure that our research overall for the HBN is actually going to lead to some new products and new processes, new ideas that we can actually commercialize, because that is the ultimate aim of HBN.
If you don't get on the waka for this one, you'll find yourself 10 or 20 years behind. So I'm encouraging Māori businesses to begin to participate or find a way to engage and create products that are quite unique, that they can make a health claim on, and that they can take to the market with their unique story.
Our work is looking at the nutritional value of green shell mussels. It all stems from research done on indigenous populations, Maori populations from coastal region have shown less inflammation that have eaten a high level of green shell mussels. So we're looking at what's inside a mussel that is actually of value, that is actually going to reduce inflammation.
Our High Value Nutrition project is going to look at how we can extract healthy lipids present in meat and prove a health benefit around cholesterol absorption in humans. Popular perception is that meat is bad for you, but in fact it contains a lot of nutrients, including vitamins and minerals present in the fat, that can have beneficial health effects.
High value nutrition science has been really important for our business. Because New Zealand is a producer of grass-fed, and yet we're in a world where grain-fed is the norm. So this gives us the chance to actually prove that the grass-fed protein from New Zealand grass-fed beef is indeed superior.
The High Value Nutrition grant will allow us to turbocharge the science, to do the human clinical trials that allow us to validate claims, not only within New Zealand markets but international markets.
The primary outcome is that we're doing some human clinical studies, giving people different types of milk and then doing some pretty cool funky stuff to see what happens when they drink that milk. And we think we'll be able to detect changes which are indicative of intestinal inflammation.
Zesbury's thrilled to be part of the High Value Nutrition Challenge. It's a really important part of our work to work with scientists and understand the health benefits of kiwi fruit.
This research for high value nutrition is a world first in the sense that it's looking at a whole fruit effect and how the kiwi fruit improves the metabolic profile and reduces the risk of progression to diabetes.
So the role of us is to be an investor, to make sure we invest that money wisely, a coordinator and facilitator throughout all the other investments happening in New Zealand to make sure that there's no duplication but there is synergy, an influencer, so we need to try and help raise the profile of New Zealand's capabilities. We will be supporting our scientists to talk up high value nutrition at international meetings, to really raise the profile of New Zealand as their place, not only to buy your foods from, but to come and invest and use our science capability.